Today we shall listen to a folk story from Japan. The Japanese word used to correspond to folktale has undergone development over the years. During the Endo period, the word otokibanashi were tales told by professional storytellers hired to entertain the lord at the bedside. In the Taisho era, the word children's stories for fairy tales was used. We shall look into the story of the Stonecutter. This is the story of a man who worked diligently every day cutting stone from a mountain. The stones that he cut were used to build the great temples and palaces of Japan. This particular stonecutter whom we are talking about was a hard worker. He knew the exact type of stone needed for every purpose. He knew about the type of stone needed for gravestones, and he also knew about the stone which was needed to make the roof of houses. People around him were very happy with his work, and his services were always in demand. In the mountain near the stonecutter's house, there lived a mountain spirit. And what did the mountain spirit do? The mountain spirit granted the wishes to people, and all the people who approached the mountain spirit went back rich and prosperous. As said, the stonecutter was very content in his work. He had never met the spirit, nor did he want to meet the spirit. However, all that changed one day. Once, the stonecutter carried a huge rock down to a rich man's house. Inside the rich man's house, the stonecutter saw luxuries the likes of which he had never even imagined. It was at that minute that the stonecutter lost the desire to work. The stonecutter put his tools down and could not work that day. How I wish I was a rich man, so that I could enjoy all these luxuries and not have to work hard. The stonecutter did not know it, but the mountain spirit had granted his wish. The stonecutter came to the place where his hut had been, and there he was surprised to find a grand house. The house had every single luxury which he could think about. The stonecutter happily settled in the new house and soon forgot all about his profession. Once during the months of summer, when the sun was blazing, the stonecutter looked out of the window. There he saw a prince who was being driven in a carriage. The servants of the prince were dressed in blue and silver, and they carried a golden umbrella over the head of the prince. Then the stonecutter sighed to himself, "How I wish I was a prince, where there would be servants to hold an umbrella on my head to protect me from the sun." The mountain spirit granted this boon of the stonecutter, and soon the stonecutter found himself to be the prince of the land. However, now there was a deep desire in the heart of the stonecutter. Looking around, the stonecutter realized that despite the fact he was protected by the umbrella, the sun scorched the grass around him. "The sun is mightier than me. How I wish I were the sun," the stonecutter thought to himself. The mountain spirit granted this wish, and the stonecutter became the sun. For some time, the stonecutter was proud of himself, and he felt that he had done everything, and there was nothing more left for him to do. That was when a cloud came and hid the sun from the earth. "The cloud is mightier than me. I have to be the cloud," the stonecutter thought to himself. The mountain spirit granted this wish, and soon the stonecutter became the cloud. For some time, the stonecutter was a cloud. He caught the sun's rays and poured down the rain. The earth flourished under the rains, and it was beautiful. The earth's mud was all washed away by the rain, and all that remained was the rock, which was immovable. Then the stonecutter realized that the rock was stronger than the clouds. "I wish to be a rock which is stronger than the clouds." The mountain spirit granted this too, and soon the stonecutter became a rock, strong and tough. So the rock stood proud in the earth, and neither the sun or the wind or rains could move it. That was when a strange sound came there. It was a stonecutter who was driving his tools into the rock to break it. "A child of the earth is stronger than the rock. I wish to be a man." The mountain spirit granted this boon too. The story came a full circle, and the stonecutter was back where he had started. However, this time the stonecutter went back to his work. His bed was hard, and he got little food. But the stonecutter was very happy. He had learned to be happy being what he was, and not aspire for something that he was not. He was so happy that he never heard the voice of the mountain spirit, nor did he desire to meet the spirit. I hope you enjoyed the story.